Hello and welcome to the 9th round of the Clay Championship. We're at Valencia and I am terribly sorry, but I have been slacking. This video should have been up many weeks ago, so I probably can't even remember what had happened, but I will try my best. But we're watching qualifying now, and what I did here that was different was I went out to begin with at the start of the session, and I just went round and round and kept the same tyres on. Because it's wet, then the track dries up and it can be a bit tricky to get used to the track, and if you go out, do a lap, come back in, put some new tyres on, you're not really learning the track as well as you would just going round and round. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to try keep the same tyres on and see what happens if I just keep on circulating the track. So this was my final lap, I felt like I was up to speed quite well, putting in a nice lap. Obviously the downside is my soft tyres are wearing out now. This is the third lap on them. And the other thing that was a slight mistake, but there was not much I could do, just by chance when I crossed the line, I think there was about 50 seconds to go. But obviously because the track is drying up, you want to cross the line as close to the timer as possible, like with 1 second to go. So I've got pretty much the whole field behind me on fresh tyres going round on a drier track, but I chose to do it this way. And as we come down into the final corner, I've done a pretty nice lap, and we come across the line. I'm up on the current pole position time, and as we go across the line, do a 1:30.6, take provisional pole position from LA Ghost, but unfortunately a few people managed to improve. Carlos Espletiato and LA Ghost himself all going ahead of me, but for what I did, I thought I was quite pleased with the 4th position, considering I was on the same set of tyres. I thought that strategy worked pretty well. It was probably only let down by the fact to cross the line with about 50 seconds to go rather than about 10 seconds to go, but it is what it is. But on to the race now. Carlos is probably going to win the championship in this race. I think even if he finished last, he'd win the championship. So everybody's probably just going out there trying to get a victory. No one's really fighting for anything. And when we set off, get a decent-ish start, nothing amazing, but Fenny comes along, pushes me a bit wide as we go into the first turn. No one knows what we're doing. It's a wet race. Nobody's practiced this. People are going off the track, and I thought I'll brake where I braked in qualifying, but that was a mistake, and I got up the inside of Carlos, push him wide. Feel quite bad for that, but it was quite gentle, and we all managed to survive as we get pushed wide into there, and everybody's just all over the place really trying to survive. I go up the inside of Fenny, but into turn 5 he just comes flying back through, and the amount of understeer in this race, oh my god, I couldn't believe it. You had to be so careful on the braking because you would just go so wide. It was unreal. But I was, well, like everyone, I was trying to learn where to brake, what to do in these early laps, and everybody's just jostling away as Carlos comes up the inside of me. I look again up the inside. Carcerg, really unlucky, has a crash there. Side by side with Carlos, he just pushes me onto the curb. Not the ideal place to be, and now I'm forced wide here into a tricky right-hander, back down into 5th position. It's just carnage everywhere, but I was feeling quite good, because in a race like this where you have to learn on the go and try not to make any mistakes, I was feeling good. This is the kind of challenge I like. So I was just waiting for something to happen for people to make mistakes, and there's a mistake here into turn 1. Carlos goes wide but gets away with it, and this was a pattern that I was noticing. Track extending didn't seem to give anybody a penalty, but I didn't know this. I probably should have done it myself, but no, the way that the game gives you a penalty seems a bit random to me. If if you track extend on certain corners, you seem to gain time but not gain any penalty, yet you can do some other minor things and you do get a penalty, which I will show you as I just completely mess up that turn, do some grass cutting there. Yeah, I'll show you how I got some penalties in the most, well, to me, the most stupid way ever, but it is what it is. I just wish that the penalty system worked in a slightly different way, but maybe we'll get that in the next game. As Fox looking for the inside there, he could have easily pushed me wide, but very kindly didn't push me wide, as we're just, everybody's learning what's going on here, seeing where they can break, how gentle or aggressive they can be on the brakes and on the throttle. I think people are having massive issues with the braking there. You can see everyone going wide into the final turn because of the understeer was just horrendous. You're better off to change down gear rather than brake. And there you see that a penalty for that 4/10 for just touching the green. I mean, I don't know what to say. That seems incredibly harsh to me. Just a slight mistake. I didn't gain anything from it. The touching the green actually pushed me wide, but apparently that's worth 4/10 of a second penalty. But it's all bunching up at the front, and I was rubbing my hands together at this point. I knew that people were going to be making mistakes. I was just sort of sitting and waiting for something to happen, building confidence as the laps go by, as everybody jostles for positions ahead. I'm really close into the tricky chicane here. Sfregiato and Fenny come together and take each other out wide. They go into the car park. I come up into third position. This is fantastic. Probably on course to set the fastest lap of the race as we close in on Carlos and Ellie Ghost, who is leading. And I had a nice little gap behind me. It was all looking good. I was thinking, wow, I'll definitely take a podium out of this, but maybe there's more to come. And we go into the final turn, and in comes the Brazilian torpedo, Fox, and completely wipes me out and himself. And unfortunately, it's one of those races where I get murdered. Yeah, it's easy done. Our lines crossed, and it is what it is. I mean, he very kindly waited for me here to go back past, but it was a shame because both of our races were sort of destroyed at that point, because I feel like we both could have done quite well there. But here you just see there, touch the green, getting more penalty. Just this green stuff on the inside is it's dangerous stuff. You don't want to touch that. It just racks up the penalty, which again I think is a bit silly considering what other people were doing with the track extending. But we closed in on Nacho here on the Honda. Just makes a slight mistake, goes wide there. I have a little sniff up the inside. Very aware, he picks up the bike a bit to give me some room. That's very good riding by Nacho there. And at this point, because I knew how easy it was to sort of shove it up the inside, I was trying to take really deep defensive lines, and for the next few corners I was not riding very well because I was thinking he could just shove it up the inside at any moment, so I was trying to defend against that, but obviously slowing myself down, not getting it how I want it to, and as we come into this tricky left-hander here, he's all over the back of me, nearly goes for an overtake there, but luckily we live to fight another day. But it doesn't really look like there's any positions ahead that we can get. The leading group are just a bit too far ahead for us to catch, but you never know. Skipping forward here, I just wanted to show you this little clip there, just going on to that bit on the pit exit, getting another bit of penalty. It's totally fine to go onto the green on the exit, but just on the entry of the corner, if you just touch the white line, you get some penalty, which is fantastic. That's what I like to see. So the penalty mounts up once more, which it really does irritate me, because I tried my best to be really clean, and I feel like the tiniest of mistakes that I've made, which I haven't really gained from, if anything I've lost from, I have ended up getting some nice penalties, which at the end of the race can be quite crucial. But it is what it is. As we come into here, I see ahead, Fenny makes a mistake, he respawns in, and I just caught him at the worst time you could possibly imagine. Fox unlucky, he hits us as well. Nacho and Casa go through. Nacho's probably thinking all his dreams have come at once, but those dreams are immediately shattered as he hits into the back of Fenny. He enjoying just the kind of luck that I have. Poor Nacho, I mean, every single race he's murdered. I think I'm murdered every single race. I don't know whether we have targets on our back or not, but it's got to be something like that. But as we head on into the final lap, I know that I'm probably going to lose some positions because of the penalty, but I still like fighting for any position I can, even if it means I will lose it once the finish line, once the race is finished and the penalties have been applied. So behind Karsek here, trying to close in, looking for some kind of move, just because it's enjoyable to overtake. I like to always do my best, try and get myself up into a higher position, even, as I say, if I lose the position after the penalties have been applied. But we come through this third section here, closing right in, really tricky through this particular right-hander as well. As I say, you're better off using the engine braking to slow you down, because the front brake just understeers you so wide. And coming along here, just catch him at the wrong times. We turn into this right-hander, he's just in the wrong place, and I just couldn't quite get the run that I wanted. So going into the final turn, I felt like I had to do something different to try and overtake. I thought I'd go a bit wide, maybe try and cut it back, but the understeer did not allow that one. As Ellie Ghost takes the win, we come across the line in 6th position, but that will sadly be a 7th position after the penalties are applied. Carlos actually takes 2nd position, fantastic ride by him, and that clinches the championship for him. He's been fantastic all season, made very few mistakes, and another great performance here, and he thoroughly deserves the championship victory. But yeah, that was the Valencia race. One more to go. Next week we will be racing at Laguna Seca for the final race of the season, so I hope you can join me for that one. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.